It's such a happy face all the
I
time.
know, right?
Such a happy face. Look,
What is
That
that
sounds
face
very
for?
appropriate for the
well,
Saltburn.
that's what it's supposed to. It's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be like, as I said, it's like coming attractions and all that way.
No, it's very like
the divas of the '80s that we never did.
We never got there, but I thought we should jump onto something a little bit more modern and in the zeitgeist and conversational. Hello and welcome to Assigned Seating, which is UCR's cinema club for non-horror because Vera doesn't do it and she's she's not about the scary movies. Actually, neither is Jeff that much.
I don't like crazy gore. I don't like Hostel or Saw anymore.
Yes,
I'm over it.
He's over that. But we decided, look, this is confronting in a different way this week because we decided to, jump on the trend and Prime Video has a #1 movie, very controversial movie that I said, hey, we should probably watch that. And Jeffrey's like, sure, not knowing what he was in for.
Well, it's not really true. Steve.
Let's be fair to what the real attraction was for Jeffrey.
So I happened to be on Twitter.
So yeah, well, hold on. Let's say. So sorry. Before we even get started, this week we're talking about Saltburn, which is now playing on Prime Video. So Jeffrey, how did you first hear about the movie?
I keep calling it Salt Lick.
I know.
I can't.
Salt Lake City.
I'm never gonna get Saltburn out of my mouth. I was on the Twitters. You had mentioned it, and I'm like, I don't know nothing about this Salt Lick. And then on the Twitters, people were posting about the one actor, and there was a bunch of penis on the screen. I'm like, what is this? It's a movie with a whole bunch of dongs. So I got excited. Was like, all right, let's do it.
I'm in. So he heard the slapping of dong and was called.
That dude was dancing all over it. I'm like, there's cock and ball. Count me in.
He was definitely feeling the rhythm, wasn't he? Definitely feeling the rhythm. And Vera, you're pretty much in the same basket, right?
No, I actually am an Emerald Fennel fan.
Liar.
No, I am. I loved her when she was on.
Sure.
The PBS
Called
show.
Midwife?
I watched Promising Woman. I thought Young Woman was a great movie.
She was Midge.
She was even good as Camilla, even though I hate Camilla.
In Barbie.
I'm a fan of hers.
So she was Skipper in Barbie.
To like this.
Yeah, the director of the movie was Skipper in Barbie.
Did you say you attempted to like this?
I expected to like this.
Expected, not attempted. She's shady. She's shady lady.
Just admit it. It was all about the pain.
No, it really wasn't. I'm not a Barry fan. I think he looks like a mutant. He's too.
I didn't see his face or anything. I just because the meme or whatever it was just like the side, and it was just a huge dick. So I was like, oh well, let's find out what this is about.
The word on TikTok is it's all him.
Well, yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine. And Dogsy.
I didn't care. I knew he had said like, oh, it's controversial. People are getting pissed about it. And then I just saw like, the dick swinging. And I'm like, well, let's find out what people are mad about. Like, how bad could it be if there's that big of a penis floating around? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I like Emerald Fennel.
Were we in for a treat?
Well, I'm glad we kind of jumped on it because, as I said, it seems to be. I know jumped on it's probably the right the right adage for that, but it's definitely capturing people's attention in more ways than one. And we're not gonna go into too much depth about plot and storyline and because it's still new and I don't want to spoil it because
you could easily.
I think half of the ride was actually figuring out what was happening, and it was.
Right.
I still don't know what the hell was happening.
Jeffrey's gonna have to rewatch it just very closely.
No,
just the end.
Nope.
I'm with Jeffrey. We're not rewatching this one.
No rewatching? Okay.
No. Well, first of all, any movie that starts off pretending to be smarter than me is gonna piss the fuck out of me. And this movie did it. It pissed me off.
I think people should watch this movie. People should watch this movie. I think it's totally worth watching. But I'll be goddamned if I wasn't beside myself.
There was quite a few quarters, Dogsy. I'm not good at measuring quarters, but it was
Barry, he's not short change. Let's put it that way.
Oh, there was at least 6 quarters.
Yeah. Not a short change gentleman.
I mean, there was like here to here, easy.
Yeah, and that was flaccid.
Yeah.
Lake flaccid.
Yeah.
Lake
It was
flaccid.
flopping.
God had
So
to
for
make
those
up
of us-
those crossed eyes.
Oh, leave him. Those of us that haven't seen Saltburn, it is a 2023 black comedy / psychological thriller / drama, written and produced, as Vera said, by Emerald Fennell, who is an accomplished actress and
Yes.
director and
And
producer
an
and all
accomplished
these kind of
director.
things. Yeah.
A Promising Young Woman was really a brilliant piece of
Yeah.
film. And this isn't bad. I'm not trying to say that this is bad.
Oh, I don't think it's a bad movie at all. I think it's a. We'll talk about it in a sec. But so it's set in the early 2000s at a university where we meet Barry Keoghan, who is
I don't even remember his name.
Oliver Quick.
he's just Oliver.
He plays Oliver Quick.
Oliver.
Oh, Ollie.
Ollie. It's Ollie about 7,000 times. Who is kind of a social outcast and pariah, and becomes obsessed with a rich, popular boy, and ends up being welcomed into his home and into his family with devastating consequences, we shall say.
You know, do you remember that movie where like the new girl comes and she's kind of like the loser, and then she becomes like with the popular girls in school, and the girl goes crazy?
Yeah.
What's that movie?
That's
with the
like
girl with the
every
black
high
hair?
school movie.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that kind of a thing, but this is
Yeah.
way more intense.
You have shades of The Talented Mr. Ripley.
Yeah.
That's what I
shades of
said.
Brideshead Revisited. It's a common
Yep.
trope.
It has, and I feel like-
But it went all like
It-
I did not.
I enjoyed the fact that it wasn't like straightforward. I like it. Sometimes I like a movie that, like, I knew there was something happening. I'm like, oh, and it took me probably about
Well, yeah, we kept
3/4 of the way through it. I'm like, I know what it is. Like, yes, I know what's happening.
through
I
the
know.
whole thing. We kept saying like, "Oh, this." It's we're like, "What the hell?"
That's the joy of being able to watch it at home too. Because when we got to the end of it, Jeff's like, if we weren't here and we weren't watching this together, I would have turned this movie off 5 times.
Well, I told you, Stephen, I was really glad that I was streaming it so that I could turn it off and walk away from it. And I actually turned it off and walked away twice.
Yeah,
There are things that I had to digest before I could move forward.
quite literally.
Yeah, like there was parts of this movie where I literally was yelling at the TV. I was like, "Stop it! Stop it! No!
So let's talk about Barry. I think this is
A
a
brilliant
good
performance.
This is a brilliant
brilliant
performance. Do you reckon this is Oscar worthy?
Was that the angel?
Ollie.
No. It's
Oh, Ollie. I thought you said Barry. I was like, "Who the hell's Barry?"
Barry Keoghan,
Barry
who played
Keoghan's the actor.
Ollie. I
don't
this
know her.
this smells a little bit like award season, like just a little bit.
I think he's earned it. I mean, when you look at the performance that he was nominated for in Inisherin, the Banshees of Inisherin, and compare it to this performance, it shows a lot of range. I mean,
He's
I still think
he's got a
goofy
lot in
looking,
him. He's goofy.
Oh my God! I can't believe you calling somebody goofy looking, bitch.
I can't get past it. I'm sorry.
I mean, he is a goofy looking motherfucker. I'm just saying, I can't believe that's coming out of your mouth.
Why?
Because you're just such a nice girl.
Well, I don't want you fat shaming anybody, but when their eyes go like this,
Oh dear. But everyone's very obsessed with.
close set.
Who are you talking to?
Everyone seems quite obsessed with Jacob Elordi, though.
Well, he is
Oh,
a pretty
the-
tall drink of water.
He's got that tall All-American, even though he's Australian.
Did-
He played
The
Alpha.
article that just came out,
Sorry?
the original director of Twilight said if that came out today, that he should be the new Edward.
Oh, there you go.
Do we really need a second Twilight?
No.
They're making it a TV show.
Hi, Tabby. It's Tabby.
He
Oh, hey,
played
girl.
Elvis.
Hey, girl.
He was
He just
Elvis
played in Priscilla, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's having a hot moment too.
He is having
This
a
is
hot
his
moment. He is a pretty boy.
his hot moment. And look, he was everything that I think he needed to be, like, pretty aloof and, totally clueless as to everything going. Or was he? That's the question I have to ask. I'll ask myself a lot. Did he know how much Ollie was into him, and was he playing the game?
You know what really my most intrinsic takeaway from this movie is?
What?
I didn't like anybody enough to root for him, and I didn't hate anybody enough to root for their demise. I thought that all of the characters were flawed and despicable.
Well, and that I think is one of in the interviews or articles that I read, like that was the goal of this, right? Was to make everybody flawed and to make everybody, so that you didn't exactly what you just said. And I thought, like they did that very, very well. Like
they succeeded. Saltburn.
We're talking about Saltburn, Tammy. It's new on Prime Video. But that's good. I think it's refreshing to see a movie that's not black and white, like with characters, because I think we come from, especially now, with everyone having comic book movie,
it was a wild ride.
Like sleepiness. To not have black and white good characters, that everyone's flawed, everyone's a little bit fucked up, and you just kind of go, what?
I think that's
nice. It's refreshing.
I don't think it was refreshing.
I liked it. I thought it was we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about my rating later. But
can we just talk about the scene that I lost my?
We're gonna get
can
there.
We get there?
We're gonna get there. But I just want to talk a little bit about the supporting cast, because I think the family were gold fucking star.
Yes.
Richard E. Grant and Rosamund Pike. What the fuck?
Was excellent as Elspeth.
As Elspeth.
Oh, the mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They are like quintessential blue blood, clueless, rich people. Yeah. And Alison Oliver.
Yeah.
She's like that whole fit, like they were brilliant. I could wear my suit of armor. I was like, what
about what? Your dad yelled at Farley and you're so damn American.
It's just they are so clueless. It's like when you do get a glimpse into that world that we are not a part of, aristocratic world where people
I have a question though for you guys.
Yeah.
What was the deal with the butler?
I think the butler gave me. All right, this is going to test anyone that likes old movies. The butler gave me big Mrs. Danvers from Rebecca vibe. Like he knew what was going on. He knew all the secrets of the house and
now that you say
but
that,
never developed that. They never developed his character.
Just kind of.
You know what I mean? Like,
but there was also not just the secrets of the house, but the secrets of all. You knew he knew Ollie's secrets too.
I know, and maybe I don't know. I get the feeling he might be jealous of Ollie because Ollie has managed to get in there and really.
What happened to him?
He just nothing.
That was it, right?
That was
nothing.
Yeah. I thought he would be. Yeah, I thought for sure we didn't get like the end. It's like, that's the one part that I was like, what happened to the butler?
Yeah.
Because
that was a very
the estate. I'm assuming he remains the keeper of the gate.
And it'd be funny if you just saw at the end him going behind Ollie cleaning up as he danced around the house. That would have been good. Just chasing around the new boss of the house. But well, kind of. I didn't say what happened. I just said new boss of the house.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. But there is quite a few controversial scenes, we should say. And this is the one that Jeffrey wants to talk about. Now, Ollie is definitely obsessed, right?
Are you talking about
obsession.
The bathtub scene?
Yes, we're talking about the bathtub scene.
Oh my God.
We are talking about the bathtub scene. I mean,
is there a picture? Oh dear God in heaven!
Now look, You guys go first, and then I'll
Listen. So the dude is spying on the dude in the bath.
Felix, so Ollie.
I don't know their name.
Ollie
Whatever.
is spying on
Cuckoo
Felix.
Cachoo
He's in love with Felix.
is spying on,
Felix.
soccer
and he
boy.
watches Felix jerk off in the bath.
In the bathtub.
Yeah.
Homie gets out the bath. The water's draining. Cuckoo Cachoo comes in the bathroom, gets down in the bathtub with his puss, and starts licking the bottom of the bath. I can't even fucking oh my God. He was licking the fucking drain, bitches. Licking the fucking drain in the bathtub. I almost came unglued right there and then on the couch. That would have been the first moment that the fucking movie went off because I was done. Like, what? What? There's no need for that to be filmed.
That's when Jeffrey's screaming,
Actually-
stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
No. I don't care. There's not a man hot enough on the planet, and there's not a dollar amount, bitch, that I'm licking a fucking drain in a bathtub. I don't care what
Me
any of you
neither.
think.
I love that.
Me neither.
I love that's what you're focusing on. The drain in the bathtub.
He lit the fucking bed. No.
That was
I mean-
unexpected.
Then have it so easy if you try to mess in the bathtub, she would drown.
I agree.
Dogsy, I don't do baths if I don't fit for 1 or 2. So 3. But okay.
No.
It would be a very clean bathtub though, because old mates there clean every but
With their fucking cum floating around in
He
the water.
got his dirty ass and his jizz all over
Jizz.
that bath.
I find it funny, okay, that people are this shocked over it though.
I'm not shocked. It's
No,
just
but-
fucking
I'm-
gross.
I'm
On the
not
internet,
even
there's
grossed out by
A lot of
it.
people.
I actually thought it was kind of, it was an intense scene. It was, oh, that's an obsession going somewhere I hadn't expected. But,
Yeah,
Right.
motherfucker is crazy.
If you didn't get it from him standing outside the bushes of his dorm room watching him have sex with people, getting the mouthful of the good is, I think,
If you're licking somebody's bathtub drain,
Not the good. I'm sorry. All three of us knows what penis tastes like. It doesn't taste like bathtub drain.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Jeffrey's a born again virgin.
Okay, but so the other thing about this is how did he not know that he was being watched? Like
But
he
this
left the bathroom door open.
You're a weirdo.
Thank you. This is what I'm talking about. Somebody finally understands my issue because I can't, I'm gonna throw up.
tastes like
it's like
avocado.
fucking raw eggs in the.
See, this goes back to my question. Did Felix know that Ollie was obsessed with him?
I
And
think he
was
did. I
playing
think
with
he
him.
did.
I think he did too.
Like
I don't think he knew how much he was obsessed with him, but I think speaking
I
from
also
personal
think-
experiences, I know guys, I have like being around guys like Felix in university, yes, when they're all bisexual and everything's all good and everyone wants me because I'm this, that, and the other. They play games with people because that's what they
yeah.
do to make them feel.
Oh,
They
yeah.
make themselves feel good, and
Yeah.
I
yeah,
question
Part
multiple
of it,
times.
I'm the upper crust. I'm so superior to
Yeah.
you. Yes, I agree.
make the puppets dance and do what they
I
want them
also
to.
I
think
wonder-
though that he found it exciting. That
Yeah,
Oliver
he liked
excited him.
Yeah.
I don't think he had any idea how far.
The motherfucker was licking the
how
bathtub
deep,
juice.
how intense
Oh.
and how twisted it was. But
it was twisted.
That-
it was definitely
that was
twisted.
a good sign that this movie was not going to be something to watch with your family, which is everything I've seen on TikTok is when you choose Saltburn as the family movie. And there's just people going, just reaction shots of people's
Could you
families.
imagine watching that scene with him licking the bathtub with Smother?
Oh no.
What about
He
Joyce?
wouldn't get
Oh,
that.
I could just see it now, sitting there next to my mother as that dude's licking motherfuckers watery cum off the bottom of the
bed.
bed.
You would not get that far.
There
would be more
actually that
this movie is
perverse. No. Joyce would be like, what the fuck you got on this TV?
She'd be like, Jeffrey, is that why you spent so much time in the bathroom as a teenager?
My mother would be
doing it.
No, we didn't have a door.
Oh no.
She would
So
have
we
been
didn't spend a lot of
invoking
time.
the Bible. She would have not been happy.
But I think this is part of that. I think every generation has their dangerous, naughty, sexy movie. I think going back when we were teenagers, definitely remember the hubbub around Cruel Intentions and Wild Things when they came out, and it was like, oh, sexuality on screen. There's lesbians. Oh,
Because they kissed.
yeah, but they were eating each other
that
out in three ways and all that kind of stuff. And
I don't know what movies you guys are watching.
that kind of sexual
wasn't
thriller, they come along every couple of decades, and it's like, hold on, this is good.
There was
My
a
mother
movie-
would have been like, "Oh my god, what a
Oh
my god, Tammy, you're classic. I love it." But let's not deny that Ollie is an equal opportunities employer.
Do you think they
Yeah.
had sex?
I don't think they did.
No,
I don't think they ever
think
had
they
sex, and that was part of the problem.
Yeah.
That's what made.
And there was also that was Felix Power.
Yeah, exactly. He was
Felix
withholding.
Power.
Like, I don't. Did they even kiss?
No.
Because that's the whole.
Well, that's what there was multiple parts by the end. I didn't think.
No.
But there was multiple parts where I'm like, is this being implied? Like, what is happening here?
But I think that's
Well,
as
there
Vera
were-
just said. I think
there were
it's the
moments where
power.
you thought they were going. Well, the whole.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Mindfuck. But there were
Yeah.
moments where you thought they're going to end up together. This is where this is going. You know.
Yeah.
Early on, you did think this was going to be a love story in some way.
Well, he definitely.
Well, it was.
He loves.
It was a love story.
He certainly doesn't mind a bodily fluid, as we found out when he met Felix's sister in the garden.
I mean, really,
shortly after that.
If you really
Yeah.
look at it in the end, it is a fucking love story. He was in love.
With power.
Emerald
But
Fennell just herself described it as a vampire movie.
well,
Speaking of
maybe
that
a
next scene in the garden.
a societal vampire movie. Yes, I can definitely see that. I can
And
definitely see
yes,
that. But
the class struggle shit. She talked about that.
he he definitely takes advantage of anyone and everyone he can. I mean,
Yeah. All right. What do you two think happened to Pamela?
The friend.
Yeah, the
Alice in
friend.
Wonderland.
she dresses
Mulligan.
when she
killed
found
her.
out about suicide, and she dressed terribly. It's like,
I know, right?
what? What is that takeaway?
No, it was
I
she
think
dressed. She had such a great sense of fashion. You expected her to be fun.
interesting or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He killed her.
No, I don't think he killed her. I think she's the result of what happens when you hang around that family too much. She's the cautionary tale because
Well,
she was their
Farley's also
obsession.
the cautionary tale.
Well, yeah, Farley's part of the family. Farley's the American cousin, so he's
Right.
by association guilty, and he does
You're
play the
so
game too.
American.
He does play the game as well, so you can't feel bad for what happens to him just because he spots Ollie early on.
Well,
But
and he's
that's
so
because
smugly
he's
sure
got
that
part
he
of Ollie in
knows-
him as well.
He's so smugly
Oh.
sure that he can control Ollie, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Because I think he thinks he's got the game down because he's, as he even says, he's the black family member. So he's on the outside already, and he enjoys manipulating things to make himself more ingratiated with the family. But someone came along that was way better at the game, boy.
They kind of let his storyline just drop off too, didn't they?
They did. I thought he would have been added to the list of people we no longer see, but he just kind of
Right.
wafts out.
Well, he was in his own way.
he was exiled, but not permanently. Like, you know, not the. It would be interesting
dude.
to.
You are spoiling.
I'm not.
Hey,
but I'm not saying who. I'm not saying who. It's a big cast.
quit
It's
spoiling.
a big cast. But
The
yeah.
scene with the two of them
In the bedroom.
Insane.
That was an intense scene. That was when I had to
That
turn it
was-
off and walk away again.
Oh, I didn't
They're not-
turn
but
it off.
this
I
is-
was just like, oh.
I've heard a lot of conversation about possibly there should be a trigger warning for sexual assault at the beginning of the movie. I don't, but I don't think so. Because
Well,
if
I
you're-
do think that interaction was not assaultive, but it wasn't completely consensual.
it wasn't completely consensual either, yeah. But if you telegraph stuff like that, I don't know. A lot of people are going into this movie not knowing what they're seeing. They're going off, I've heard the name, I'm just going to watch
A
it.
lot of people are coming out of this movie not knowing what they're seeing.
To be fair, that's correct. Yeah. But that, like, it's funny that I think Ollie's painted as this ultimate loser, like giant virgin, whatever, but he uses sex as a weapon so well. Like, so well.
And it's funny because Vera
from
calls
the
him the
ultimate-
cross-eyed fuck.
From the ultimate virgin to the ultimate mind fuck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it was, yeah. Like, we have to debate what was ever true. Because, as we
Right.
said, Jeff and I are watching Interview with the Vampire at the moment. That's been our lockdown show.
Yeah.
And there's been a few things that, stories change. I'm like, well, it's a question of, is Louis a reliable narrator? Is so-and-so a reliable narrator? Who
I
do we
have watched
believe
it.
in this situation? Do you know what I mean? Especially this one. Like,
Well,
they
I
show us, but...
The 1990s movie with Cruise and what's his name?
Yeah,
It's got nothing on
Brad
the
Pitt.
show.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt.
So we're up to the last episode, so we'll get to that tonight. That's tonight's job.
Hurry up, catch
I
up. There's
usually
8
love
episodes.
Vampires. It's the other.
It's good. It's very good. Brilliant performances. Very brilliant performances. But I want to talk just a little bit about the turning point in the movie when without giving away too much, did you see it coming?
No.
The ending?
Yeah. What was
Turning point from
do you know-
Ollie's birthday? Are you talking about the way it turned
Yeah,
after
so
Ollie's birthday?
from when Felix takes Ollie home for his birthday, and we find out that his version of the truth is not true, and everything that unfolds from there.
Well, I expected his home life to be what it was. I
Yep.
really did. But I didn't expect the birthday party shifts.
I kind of did. And you know when it was? And it was a really weird moment for it to happen. It was when he was looking and playing with the model of the hedge maze.
Right.
Because the butler turns around and says, people get lost here all the time in Saltburn or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, I think I know what's happening.
Well, yeah, you knew something.
I'm like,
was
something's
gonna-
happening.
the maze
So,
was
like,
gonna
and then
play.
the
But I
maze is
didn't
featured in it,
expect
and
it
it's.
to be what happened.
I kind of.
expected someone else to be the victim. I really did.
Really?
Really?
I never thought that that we would get a different victim. I was just surprised at how orchestrative it all was.
expected from
I
the
was like,
beginning
wow.
that the power dynamic would never change.
Yeah, you would think that, he's just a simp that's in love with this guy that's never going to sleep with him and blah, blah, blah. It's going to be...
expected the power dynamic to change. And the way that it changed was...
it was going to be one of those... Remember those 90s... One of those 90s tragic gay movies where they're in love with the straight guy and everything's all like, oh.
Yeah, I didn't watch
It had shades of that, but the turn and just, I'm like, wow,
Well, no, I wasn't
okay.
thinking of gay romance movies. I was thinking more of those like the Great Gatsby, where
Yeah,
the
it
people in
had big.
power, where Gatsby could never change the power dynamic of the old money versus the new money. I
It
was
had
expecting that
big
kind of approach.
Gatsby, big cruel intentions / dangerous liaisons energy. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. I like and
and
that.
and
I
the talented
really, I really enjoy these kinds of movies. I'm like,
the talented Mr. Ripley.
talented big time. And I
Yeah,
said that when it first started to Jeff. I went, this is kind of like the talented Mr. Ripley, isn't it? I'm like, he's obsessed with it. And I'm like, oh,
that was
he's
my first thought
obsessed.
when
And
they arrived
just
at Saltburn. It was not my first thought when they were at Oxford.
can I ask you like a really random question? Did you notice they had a pool and they were swimming in that dirty, dirty pond? Ew.
Were they? Yeah,
They were swimming in that pond.
yeah.
They was and there was a when they did an aerial shot of Saltburn in the backyard. There's a pool.
Well, I'm
Like, why
sure.
would you swim in there? Ugh.
I'm sure
That's the
part
grossest
of
part for me.
part of the symbolism that we're supposed to. I mean, like, look at the name Saltburn. Salt and burn should never go together, but here we are at Saltburn, this haven.
It's just,
I mean, I'm sure it's part of Fennel's symbolism and her plot weaving.
Well, it's the countryside, right? You're in
it's a
the
nice house.
freshwater.
It's not, but there's
fresh.
lily
charming-
there's lily pads and everything in it.
It was
Ooh,
fun.
look,
And it was so dark.
there you go.
that
As
they had to frog spawn.
frog sport all in your undies, don't swim in ponds. I agree with
I wasn't
Dogsy.
gonna get in it.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
The movie was so dark that that one scene where they're digging through it,
Yeah,
the water was so dark and murky.
exactly. And that morning after moment when
Yeah.
the house kind of literally explodes is
Oh, I
everything.
thought that was
Everything
crazy.
is so everything is so regimented and so like all that we go through all the rooms and he explains all the different rooms and ghost of grandmama, blah blah blah, like all these little secrets and stories that Saltburn holds. But after his birthday party, when everything's brought out into the light, the house literally explodes. There's wreckage everywhere. They're destroying the property looking for the missing person. And
Didn't you think it was
It's-
weird though? Like I thought
I love a good
the
symbolism.
behavior was very odd, and I'm like,
Ollie's
are we
behavior.
just supposed to pretend that nobody notices? Like, why does nobody notice the behavior? I thought that was super.
But I think
weird.
that's the whole point of the movie is that they don't really care about this kid. He's just a plaything. He's their eccentricity.
Right.
They don't like when they see no one even knew his name when they sang happy birthday.
Yeah. That was
They went like-
happy birthday.
yeah. That like they were there because it was a party because it was a
That
place to be
set
seen.
him off.
That was like the final straw. I think it's like, oh, you fuckers, because I think Ollie thought he was in.
He
Ollie
did.
thought he was in, unquestionably,
Well,
and
he
then
knew that he was out with Felix. Felix and he had.
he knew that he was out with Felix. But I think when he knew he was out with Felix, there was a definite course of action from then onwards.
So, like I said, if you look at the ending and what he strove for, was this a revenge story or was this a love story?
I don't think it's either.
I don't think it was either.
Yeah, I don't think it's either.
I think it was a tale.
You
of
don't think
greed.
he?
I think it's-
was
yeah,
either.
I
think
think-
it was a tale of greed,
Yep, greed and
classism.
narcissism and everything that's
Social
kind of
fantasy.
wrong. Everything that's kind of wrong with the world today. Everyone's out
Yeah.
to get theirs and to
There was
get
that
what they can get for them.
sociopathology about
Yeah,
it.
the sociopathy of it all, and it doesn't matter what bodies you leave in your wake as long as you get what you want in the end. And it's
Yeah.
yeah,
Just kidding.
like
Sleep
it's
with
so.
one eye open, Steve.
No, it's all right. We are all good.
I didn't get life insurance on him. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm Australian. I'm not anyone. I'm not worth to anyone. Anything to anyone. But yeah, the ultimate ending is it kind of negates any kind of love story or even
Yeah,
revenge. I
don't really
think
think
everyone was
it's
just an
love-
obstacle, really.
Yeah,
No, I don't think it's about a love story with people.
Love story of himself, maybe
No, with
No,
the
it was
with
a tale of
greed,
the
with-
lifestyle, the place, the
Saltburn. He was
experience.
in love with Saltburn. Ugh.
Yeah.
But I think it really talks, but it talks a lot about what we put on a pedestal as ideal life, as what you strive for, because some people think it's worth killing for, obviously, and
Well,
no matter who gets in our way, that's so. What's next then for Ollie? What do you think happens to that character now that he's
spoiler.
no? But what do you think? Where does that
It's
leave?
terrible.
Where does at the end of that movie? What is Ollie now? Ollie becomes that family, right? He inherit.
Do you think he ever succeeds at that? I mean,
We'll find out in the
he
sequel.
does.
I don't think there will be one. Saltier, Saltburn 2, even saltier.
Salt Lake.
Salt Lake. It's just a
Even more
whole
bathtub
big bathroom.
spooge.
He turns the whole thing into a boys' school, and that's just like a whole fucking issue in itself. But it's interesting
And
because
the sister.
yeah,
It's just the whole fucking thing.
it was
wild.
At the end, I don't feel like he was in love with Felix. I feel like he was in love with Felix's status.
or the
I don't-
idea of Felix.
All that early romanticizing of Felix comes to naught. I think he's in love
It's
with his
obsession
status.
more than romance, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, he with what he does.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
fucked.
There's another
That's
scene that's
fucked.
quite okay. I went, that's not going to happen. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's an act of love. That's kind of an act of
It's fucking cuckoo cuckoo. You don't do that.
but it's
It's
dominance.
not normal.
It's like
People don't fucking do that.
it's dominance though. That's what dogs do.
I mean, obviously
what
somebody's
I mean?
had to do that for somebody to write that, clearly, but I'm saying it's not fucking normal.
It's not normal, but
What if
that's
this
the whole thing
movie
in this
was
movie.
fucking
What in this
normal,
movie
Jeffrey?
is normal?
None of it.
No one in this movie is normal, and there's like the delightfully like Rosamund Pike. I just love. I could just watch a whole
You know
movie
what?
of
Really
her
have
character.
You know what my ultimate flaw in this movie was?
Go V.
It is that a promising young woman had all these themes of angst and hatred and juxtaposition of wealth versus poverty, and yet a promising young woman had a lot of humor. I did not find this funny.
I don't think it was ever supposed to be though.
There was an occasion.
It's a dark like there are parts that make you go,
line that
ooh.
made me laugh, like also that American line that the father
Yeah.
screams at Farley at
The suit of armor, like it's a black comedy. It's not
It's
a
so
laugh
black,
out loud.
It's not funny.
But I love a black comedy.
I like a black
I love a black
comedy.
comedy.
I laughed.
Yeah, I didn't think
and
there was
cried.
many. Did I laugh? I don't know.
You went, like that a few times. But that's probably out of holy fuck what's going on as well.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there was definitely
wanted
amusing
more.
moments.
I wanted more laughter to break all the ick.
But isn't that good? Isn't that part of a good movie that's gonna, even though it's making you uncomfortable, you have to sit there and
'cause
watch it?
I think
I think that's a
No,
sign of a
the
good movie.
mother, the family.
I think the most successful black comedies make you laugh when it's almost too much. You're getting to the point where it's too much and you're going to turn it off, and all of a sudden there's something very funny. I think that's part of the more successful black comedies. I think that happened in her first movie. I don't feel like that happened here.
And maybe that was never the intention too, because it's more. I think it was more satirical than it is comedic. You know what I mean? Like, and satire isn't always laugh out loud funny. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not. It's seeing those cultural archetypes and going.
I mean,
oh,
again, I'd say it was amusing. I don't think it was funny.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it was ever meant to be funny.
But it's labeled a comedy.
I feel
Vera
like
needs
this
a little
movie
bit more
would have
laughter.
benefited from comedic breaks.
I think that they could have punched more with the parents and like the lines. You know what I mean? Like they were amusing.
Those two were gold.
They could have just
and even the sister and the butler could have.
Yeah,
and it wasn't the acting. You know what I mean? If the lines were just
I'm not faulting the acting.
Yeah, no.
I'm feeling
it could have just went differently of that thing of where you're just like, oh my fucking god, you know what I mean, where you just start cracking up.
You're always at the point after he arrives at Saltburn, you are almost always at the point of, oh my fucking god, you know. It's unbelievable. It's unrelenting.
Isn't that's the point? I think that's part. It amps up that sense of there's tension, but you don't know why there's tension.
I mean,
it takes so many turns that the tension kind of changes flavor. You're like, oh, is he in danger? Oh, this is socially awkward. Oh, what's going on? Oh, that's weird.
But
that's gross. Oh. There's no tension relief, and I like that.
And really pay attention because, like, some of those scenes, like you were talking about, right? Like sometimes the editing is what makes all the difference, right? Like, should it have been a close up on the actor's face, right? Should there have been a pause?
Well, don't you think
in the way the camera moves?
Butler character could have had some comedic tones?
Oh,
I don't know that he was
saying a lot with a whole lot of nothing.
I don't know. I don't know that he was ever. So, one of the first lines is "Stop scaring the shit out of my friend" or something, isn't it? Like,
and then he was like, "He's scary as shit."
Yeah, and he is. He's a president.
And then
he's a threatening
him
president.
Just stand there.
But it's a red herring, and I really enjoy that. Like,
okay, Scooby.
I enjoy it. Look, I don't know. This movie kind of ticked a lot of
Luke
boxes.
Scrappy.
Puppy power, but that would explain a lot. That would explain a lot, right?
I just feel that. I mean, the choices that were made, I would have preferred they were made differently.
Yeah, sure. So we can wrap it up there because we're not going to go further with but let's
You mean like how that one character died in the other one?
Did I ever say that? I didn't. I said we no longer see them, so that's all right. Let's talk how many bathtub drains out of 5 you're going to give it, Vera. Tell us how many bathtub drains out of 5.
I'm gonna go 3.5.
3.5, okay.
3.5. I don't hate it. I don't know that I want to recommend it, but I think if you are intrigued by cinema and you're intrigued by, dark tales, that you should give it a listen. Give it a look.
Give it a listen, give it a watch, give it a look. Give it a taste even. Jeffrey? Did Saltburn leave a funky taste in your mouth?
I think it did. But I think the whole experience, the conversation afterwards, it doesn't happen, I don't feel like very often
not anymore.
So I'm going to do something really weird and say 4.25 bathtubs.
Oh, 4.25. That's very good. Yeah, I'm gonna go about 4.5 too. I think it was close to being like what for me, because I really enjoy this kind of movie. I like,
I loved her first effort. I loved A Promising Young Woman.
As I said, it has shades of that Dangerous Liaisons, Talented Mr. Ripley, Cruel Intentions. That I really enjoy those kinds of movies.
Yes.
I think it's the modern day equivalent of that. It's this generation's that. So,
I don't know if it succeeded enough to be this.
We'll see. It's definitely making making a cultural impact. It might not be, a huge success, but I think this will definitely be a cult movie.
If it was out in the theaters, would it have been a hit?
It was. It was out in November.
Yeah, but it wasn't a hit.
If I
That's what I'm saying.
It was in theaters. Yes, it was in theaters.
Yeah.
If I had
Yeah,
seen
but now
in
it wasn't a
theater,
mass
I would
thing, was it?
probably had to walk out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think this movie will be a cult classic because people will discover it in time. I don't know that it's not a movie that you would ultimately seek out at the cinemas because who knew what it was. It's so even when it was before we watched it was so mysterious.
Don't you?
Well, wasn't it a very limited
It was. I think it was a limited release,
and
kind
it
of
wasn't
vibe.
like.
Yeah.
I mean, I never even heard about it until he brought it up.
It's not a tentpole big,
I had heard about it.
I'd heard about it. I knew that it was controversial, but I didn't know what.
And I didn't care until I saw the pain.
I actually, and like I've said from the beginning, I am an Emerald Fennel fan.
Which I feel like was false advertising.
More pain. Jeff wants the Saltburn uncut. Well, it would be, right? Because he's.
I gotta tell you that the dancing penis scene, when you saw it on social media, was much more subdued than in the actual film.
Yeah, it was flopping around everywhere, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Woo!
It was wild.
It was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, and I did not I'm watching the movie going, when the hell is that coming? And what the hell is where's this going? You know what I mean? Like, I liked that I didn't know. I'm like, where the fuck is this going?
And I enjoy those kind of films too. And it was definitely a ride. Let's just say that.
Yeah. It was
whether it's a ride that bears repeating is always a question.
No.
But I think I will watch it again at some point in my life. I think I will watch it again.
I will probably watch it again because if it gets nominated for a single Academy Award, I will probably end up watching it with my sister because she won't watch a movie unless it's nominated.
Oh my god, I can imagine Dia's response to that. Please, maybe we need to do a part 2 review
I got
once
a bottle
Dia's
of wine with her name on it. We're gonna tell her it got nominated.
We'll fake the nominations. We'll fake the noms. It'll be great. Well, thank you for coming along to Saltburn with us, Jeff and Vera. I appreciate you joining me for the ride, and we'll be back soon with something
Salt
else.
Lake number 2.
Salt Lake number 2.
I know, Attack of Killer Tomatoes.
Jeffrey wants us to watch Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Oh,
so who knows what we will review on a side setting. But thank you for joining us. And it's a cult classic.
And Return of the Attack of Killer Tomatoes is one of my favorites.
If you have any suggestions on what we should watch, you can always let us know as well. But otherwise, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again soon in the cinema that is assigned seating. Stay salty. The one thing I will say about Ollie, very considerate.
With
The butler didn't have to do that cleanup at the bathtub, did he?